We're here today to talk about a design thinking process that's led us to solving the common reader problem. My name is Briee, and I have a background in visual storytelling and graphic design.
I'm Holly Height, and I have a background in creative writing.
So through research, we've identified a problem space for the freshman common reader that addresses constraints and issues we hope to solve. The problem is that students who participate in the freshman common reader are able to connect to a larger theme. However, students are opposed to being told what to do, especially when the level of required participation is misunderstood. To solve this, we hope to create a transmedia experience centered around the freshman common reader that serves as an introduction to the book's larger theme and its relevance to the audience, while allowing autonomy over participation. So to give you a brief introduction to what the Common Reader Operative is, this is an embedded narrative that encourages collaboration between students and members of the Ball State community, while also acclimating incoming students to areas around campus. Some requirements for this is that it must connect with the book's theme. It must be able to be applied to all of the themes of any book, have clear expectations for the participants, allow autonomy over participation, and it must be transmedia. Some constraints that we'd also like to recognize is that we can't change anything about the freshman common reader. It must be open to all levels of engagement, so for those who read the common reader and for those who don't. It must be adaptable, and we must consider the budget, money, and time. So to enter this problem space, we went through a research process to help identify some key findings. We started with empathy research, where we held observations, interviews, and surveys. We went to academic research to look into user autonomy and the importance of sharing personal stories. And then we reached out to expert research, people like authors and professors who have used this kind of information in their classroom or setting. So this research process helped identify the target audience and how they interacted with the freshman common reader and how they interact in large spaces as it is. We asked ourselves, how do students feel and interact with the freshman common reader? What do students like about the freshman common reader? And how do large groups of people interact with each other? Through this, we've identified 3 key findings that we hope that this addresses. That is that clear expectations must be defined. It should carry on a conversation beyond the story, and it should appeal to groups and individuals all at once. So we got to this freshman common reader operative by going through a prototyping and usability testing and design thinking process. We took 12 basic ideas, narrowed them down to 6 low fidelity prototypes that we placed in front of users. Based on the user's feedback, we narrowed the 6 down to 3, and then decided to combine 2 of those 3 to create the Common Reader Operative experience. The first low fidelity prototype of this experience was actually 2 separate ideas. One of them was the do-it-yourself story, and another was the spy game. We combined the 2 based on positive feedback from our users. We felt that separately they did an okay job, but we thought once we bridged them together, we could tell a narrative through it for a more effective experience. So we moved our low fidelity prototype to a medium fidelity prototype and divided the experience in a physical and digital space. So as you see here, this is an example of the physical prototype where users are given assets such as missions, maps, clues, and handler information to use in completing the Common Reader Operative. And this is an example of the digital experience where everything, their assets, their information, is digitalized. So based on this user feedback, most users preferred the digital experience. However, it became evident that the physical and digital experience were too different for each other when they were supposed to work with one another. Through this, it became less transmedia, and there's no evidence that there was a connection to the game and the theme. So we went back to the drawing table to create an embedded narrative about the overall theme of the Freshman Common Reader.
Okay, for our final prototype, we used an embedded narrative in the form of a game. Students arriving on campus will see flyers around campus about stopping a villain, as well as propaganda that the villain is spreading, dealing with the Freshman Common Reader theme. Now, if students attend orientation to receive their book, they will also receive a packet which has information about the game and includes handler contact information, which these handlers could be people involved in the Freshman Common Reader or other students that want to help. There's also QR codes to direct them to social media, as well as a website where they will receive more information on missions they can complete to play the game, as well as learning about the theme. Students who want to participate will receive a message from the Operative organization detailing what they need to do. An example could be, this is a call for recruits to help stop the villain currently spreading lies and running amok on our campus. We hope that you will join us in this fight by becoming a Common Reader Operative. The website that they are led to is the organization website that has been hacked by the villain. There is a members-only section that the villain hasn't been able to gain access to, and that is where students will go to learn more using their Ball State login information. Once they are on the members-only section, they will watch a news broadcast from the organization. An example could be saying that late last night, a couple of our operatives happened upon a meeting where the villain was trying to recruit members to his cause. And then they'll receive their first mission in that video, which would be to reveal the location of where the villain was in an encrypted map by answering a question about the theme. Once they figure that out, they then go to that location where they'll find flyers that were dropped by both the villain and the operatives, leaving clues as to what to do next. They can upload what they find to the website, and if they found a lie left by the villain, then they need to connect with another operative or player to find the truth. And once they complete this, they will receive an email message from the organization saying, congratulations, they've completed their first mission, and they level up. They are then asked to check in with their handlers and the website to learn about further directives. They get directed back to the website to learn what they will need to do next. They'll watch another video about what they need to do. They learn about a newsletter that was either printed or emailed to them, and they find out a little more about the process that they need to go through, which involves finding more about the theme. When they find a lie that's being spread by the villain about the theme, they need to either post or upload something that shows the truth, and the more times they do this, a new sighting or location of the villain will be revealed until he's caught.
So, just to introduce our problem statement again to help solve the Freshman Common Reader problem. We create a transmedia experience centered around the Freshman Common Reader that serves as an introduction to the book's larger theme and its relevance to the audience, while allowing autonomy over participation. The Freshman Common Reader Operative addresses our key findings because it has clear expectations defined from the very beginning. It carries a conversation about the story while also getting students to interact with the physical locations. It appeals to groups and individuals all at once, You can play by yourself or you can play with a group. And it also encourages collaboration between single people in a group. Also, through this transmedia experience, there's the embedded narrative that allows us to distribute information about the Freshman Common Reader across the game space. So thank you for watching. That's all we have.